The 75th Sturgis Motorcycle Rally is just about a month away. The death of a 14-year-old boy in a rollover accident still sends shockwaves through Dakota Territory town. Good evening and welcome. I'm Scott Gross. Developing news to pass along to you tonight. At around 3:20 this afternoon, police arrived at 1220 Silverleaf Avenue for a report of a body located on the property. Rapid City gets a new leader. Safe Families is not foster care, and it's not about adopting. It's about being there for someone who's going through a tough time.
You came this close to being on Vic's Big Ol' Fish.
Well, I know. I almost had my first big old fish. Wasn't paying attention. Another prescribed burn today in Custer went according to plan. We'll have more information.
Scott?
Thanks, Helene. When you think of Sturgis, you think of motorcycles, but what drink do you think of?
Let's get back to football. You saw all the big hits tonight, but what does that do to the brain long term and for the future of the sport of football? I'm Scott Gross. Your news starts now. And these machines, very easy. Now, these are treadmills right here.
This is a treadmill.
Okay.
It's very user-friendly. You go ahead and press quick start.
So let's get another look at the logo here for you in case you missed a little bit earlier. 76 unveiled here during the 75th.
I set out to see for myself. I joined James and his daughter Tiffany near the Pactola Reservoir for a little fly fishing experience of my own. Scott Gross, join me this Tuesday in Dakota Territory News at 5:30 as I take the sleep test to determine if I belong under the mask.
Bring on Mr. Sandman.
Thanks for joining us. Now, a Sheridan mom got quite the scare when she encountered a brown bear on her morning run. Following the latest developments. Now, we'll have more on this a little bit later in the show. We're having a little bit problems with the video that we're having right now. So coming up, we're going to meet one of the finalists, one of the 4 finalists for the. Since 2007, Dakota Territory News has reported at least 9 children homicides where the mother's boyfriend was the one to blame. Influenza continues its harsh reign in South Dakota. Vicki told me during the break that same scenario happened a year ago. Thank you, Eric. Now, following a day-long hearing that included testimony from 2 victims, the Tuesday rollover accident that killed a Belle Fourche teenager, and the Black Hills Stock Show and Rodeo is well underway, and here are some of the events you can look forward to today. Now, what do you want your community to look like, to act like? Not a good weekend to be roasting marshmallows outside.
Probably not, but a good weekend to eat them.
Well, the last 2 days, waking up in the morning and walking the kids to school, it really had that spring feel, even the smell. Good afternoon, I'm Scott Gross. Thank you for spending the lunch with us, Helene's. The second year in a row, Stevens won the cookie eating contest, but he had a close competitor. You were right there.
Yeah.
Not much drama today in the NFL draft like we thought there'd be. Only to return later with a gun. The community of Lennox was then struck with a tragedy. 2 injured and 1 dead. A plush monkey named Honey made its way back to Sioux Falls after taking a vacation in Iowa, or at least that's what Honey's 3-year-old owner Rory believes. Sorry, just checking my own team right here. Buffalo Wild Wing hosts 50 to 60 draft parties annually, and they've already hosted 40 this year.
I'm here in Denver at Sports Authority Field where the Denver Broncos hold off the Minnesota Vikings.
Hey there, everybody. The Pine Ridge girls basketball team ran its record to 5-1 earlier this week. Vic Quick takes a closer look at our Subway Athlete of the Week. There, Callie O'Brien tries to go coast to coast, and her layup, a little short. And so, a big day of college football tomorrow, mainly the Orange Bowl and the Cotton Bowl, which are a part of the 4-team playoff. The winners of those square off in the national championship on January 11th. Get your popcorn ready.
So who are you rooting for, Scott?
I'm rooting for Michigan State. Let's keep it in the Midwest.
Scott?
Thanks, Helene. When you think of Sturgis, you think of motorcycles, but what drink do you think of? You got it right. Jack Daniels. I'm joined now by Jeff Barnett. He's a master distiller with Jack Daniels. And so far, your impressions of Sturgis Rally number 75.
You know, as I was telling you earlier, my first rally was the 70th, and that was by far the largest one that I had seen. But this year will certainly surpass that. I've been 4 times in 6 years. This is the biggest and best I've seen of Sturgis.
Talk a little bit about the promotion you're doing with Indian Motorcycles called Bottles and Throttles Don't Mix.
You know, I think one of the things that we want to do as a company is always be responsible when we promote our brands. We recognize that when you're riding a motorcycle, you really don't need to be drinking. If you're drinking, you know, just don't mix the two. But you know, we're classic American brands. We've been around a long time. We want to continue to be, and the only way we can do that is responsibly promote the products that we have. So we're here with Indian doing what we call the Great American Block Party. So we're hoping everybody will come and see us. We're at 2nd and LaSalle in downtown Sturgis.
And we're right in the middle of it. This is called the the virtual tour. Can you talk a little bit about what it is real quickly?
This is meant to be a teaser. You know, we get free tours in Lynchburg, Tennessee 360 days a year. But if people would like to see what it would feel like to tour Lynchburg, we have a small mobile tour that shows you all the elements of how Jack Daniels is made, from grains and water all the way through charcoal mellowing and being put in a barrel. Got plenty of barrels here as well.
Well, Jeff, thank you for the time.
Yeah,
You also got to come down here and check out the barrels. You got to check out the smell in these things. They make their own. Helene will send it back to you.
Mike, Helene, Safe Families is not foster care, and it's not about adopting. It's about being there for someone who's going through a tough time. In a Coda News Extra, You Cry, I take you inside of the home of one of these amazing families.
We want to see her do well, and she needs her mom to do well.
This is baby Hayden and her quite unusual tale. It actually starts where a lot of stories end.
I was helping with a funeral.
Mickey Pazenka was volunteering for her church.
I laughed because I said I have a disease called You Cry, I Cry. That's how I ended up in the kitchen, because I didn't want to be like the woman nobody knew who cried at the funeral the whole time.
But it was there that the pastor's wife told Mickey about the Safe Families program and a little girl who needed a home.
And so I remember leaving the church going, she is crazy. She know we have 6 kids. I'm like, there's no way. But it kept playing in my mind.
Like a broken record playing over and over in her head, Mickey just could not shake the thought. And after some more prayers, she approached her husband, Mike, with this radical idea.
There's a woman who's in prison who is about to give birth within about a month, and there's no one to take her baby. And then we decided we needed to talk to our kids about it and see where their thoughts were, and you know, if this is something that they would want to do. And I was extremely proud and moved because every one of them said, Mom, we have to help her.
But even that wasn't enough to cement the decision until
I get to church, and that's the weekend that Pastor David announced that we were starting a prison ministry. That was it. I left. I called Mike about it, and he goes, "We're getting a baby, huh?" I was like, "Yep."
It was a yes. There wasn't any question.
We're crazy, but we're good crazy, and we could bring her some peace of mind.
now it was a race against time as the baby needed a home 30 days after its birth in prison, or else on day 31.
If it wasn't for us in Safe Families, she was in that place where she had no one. There was no one else that would come and take her baby, so she would have lost her baby.
And then one by one, miracles started to fall into place.
I called Christy Noem's office, and they were amazing. Just
little miracles like that through the whole
process. I posted on Facebook that we were going to be part of this program called Safe Families, and that we were going to be taking in a newborn, and we need everything.
Just packages started showing up at the front door.
I mean, it was amazing.
Everything and anything.
And what was thought to be a short-term stay now has surpassed 15 months. So how do you not get attached?
If you as a parent were in a crisis, and I mean you're in the worst crisis of your life that you can't care for your kids, you're worried about their safety or well-being, would you want somebody that wouldn't get attached? You're the exact person these parents or these kids need. They need somebody to be able to love them. The kids are going through a crisis too. Their parents aren't around right now. So you're exactly who needs to step up is somebody. I wouldn't want somebody that doesn't get attached.
Now, an update on the situation. Hayden's mother received parole in January. Now, she'll be in the Rapid City Passages program for the next 6 months, and if all goes well, she will be reunited fully with Hayden this summer.
Here we go.
Studies show that getting less than 6 hours of sleep each night increases many medical risks, and getting bad sleep is just as dangerous as not getting enough. I'm Scott Gross. Join me this Tuesday on Coda Territory News at 5:30 as I take the sleep test to determine if I belong under the mask.
Bring on Mr. Sandman.
Get them deep and make them weep.
James Carpenter has been casting his line in the creeks of the Black Hills since 1990.
Yeah, my mom was a big fisherman in the family. She grew up on the Delta area up in Sacramento, so she was a big striper fisherman and catfish. And I tried to get her converted over.
While he may not have converted the person who introduced him to fishing, he certainly has taken his passion to the extreme.
You know, I'm pretty tenacious. It's an obsession, like I said, and so I've spent one day. I spent up below Pactola. There was one fish rising, and I honestly spent 2 hours everything in this box trying to get, but I finally got him.
And his best day fishing in the Black Hills? Well, you remember the blizzard in October 2013, don't you?
Right when that blizzard was coming in, my wife said, you got a screw loose. There's something wrong with you. But I had above Canyon Lake that day because down in the valley there, I think the winds were like 70 miles an hour, but it was one of my best days fishing. I think I caught like 7 fish, and then none of them were under like 19 inches.
Okay, that's a little unorthodox, but not quite obsessive. Not until you hear how many days a year James is out fly fishing.
Fortunately, with my job, that gives me ability to fish 205 plus days a year. So this has become more than a passion, it's more of an obsession.
I set out to see for myself. I joined James and his daughter Tiffany near the Pactola Reservoir for a little fly fishing experience of my own.
He just loves to help people. A lot of times I'll be fishing and I'll look downstream and there he is talking to somebody. And he'll sometimes spend more time talking to somebody and pulling things out of his box to give to somebody than he does fishing sometimes. And I think he would be perfectly happy not catching a fish all day, but watching somebody that he helped catch a fish.
And that statement couldn't be more evident as the pole was handed to me for my very first cast.
Slow down. It's really not bad.
Not for
Honestly,
your first time.
if this is your first time casting a fly rod, that was pretty good. I'd be so awesome if fish hit for him.
Yeah.
I'd be like, yeah!
And almost on cue came some rookie luck.
You can. Oh, you just had a fish take it.
Oh.
You just had a fish hit that fly.
And my own tale of the one that got away. James Carpenter is the troutman, and he's hooked on fishing.
Every fish to me is a trophy, big or small. I love them all.
You can find him online, you can ask any questions you'd like, and you can even post your own catch of the day.
Black Hills Gold right there.
Ready?
Break.
Go, boys.
No real concerns.
They put safety first.
Bigger than ever and expanding, the Black Hills Youth Football League, now near the completion of its 7th year, offers everything the big boys have, except for maybe a few more stoppages.
Bathroom?
The league helps develop kids in 1st through 8th grade, and anybody can play, and that includes girls who have a taste for the gridiron, whether it be as a cheerleader on the sidelines or playing the game itself, much like Stephanie Kinsala's daughter, Chloe.
Chloe is doing great so far with the football league. I think she hangs right in there with the boys. She's physical, she's aggressive, she's smart.
Safety is a priority in the league, and it's taken very seriously, starting way before the season kicks off with proper equipment fitting sessions and summer camps now put on with the help of the NFL's Heads Up program and local high school teams.
Getting the proper training for the coaches on the right way to tackle, the right way to recognize if they do see a concussion, and what to do if you think that one of the players might have a concussion.
There's protocol and training for the coaches to keep it as safe and safe as possible for the kids, because that's the most important thing, is to keep it safe for the kids.
So for the most part, in this league, any safety concerns worried parents may have been kicked to the back of their minds.
Well, I think any sport has a risk factor, and being active in general has a risk factor. And so I think just learning the sport, watching other players play well, your kid's going to be fine.
So there's no reason to punt when it comes to safety in the Black Hills Youth Football League.
No real concerns.
Putting children first. Scott Gross, Coda Territory News.